Well, good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Eric Fisher. Let's talk about the latest with Hurricane Lee. Still a powerful hurricane, Category 3, 115-mile-per-hour winds, and it's moving pretty slowly, as it will for the next couple of days. But then it starts to pick up steam and move north. Now, the high confidence part is getting closer to an end, that track between the East Coast and Bermuda. The lower confidence part is what happens when it gets closer to our latitude. More model guidance has shown a little bit more of a wiggle to the west right as it approaches New England and then bopping back over toward Nova Scotia after that move to the west. So right now, the Hurricane Center cone has some uncertainty from as far west as Buzzards Bay and Narragansett Bay to as far east as basically a glancing blow or nothing except for big surf, and both are equally likely at this time. So we'll be watching that cone in the latest forecast as the week goes on. What we know is that track between Bermuda and the East Coast and very high surf. Those are givens. Still working on. Will it wobble back to the west on Saturday, the day to watch, and how much of a pull back to the west will we end up seeing? That will dictate how much wind and rain we get, if anything, significant. And that's the big leverage moment of this storm. One front approaching this week. This will bring us some thunderstorms on Wednesday and into Wednesday night. That starts to draw Lee northward. It begins its track. It's moving toward Atlantic Canada, but then the next front approaches and exerts a little force and tries to tug it off toward the west. And again, the question is, does it come over Cape Cod? Does it hang out in the Gulf of Maine? Does it move farther off to the east into Nova Scotia? Those are details still to be worked out. If it's less than 100 miles away, we could have some high impact weather in southeastern parts of the state and pretty moderate impact weather in the eastern end of Massachusetts, certainly at the coastline with very big wave action. If it's a little farther off toward the east, which is kind of the consensus track right now, if you will, still some moderate impacts toward the Cape and the islands, but lower impacts elsewhere. So things to watch as it all unfolds. One note, hurricanes that are powerful tend to be a little bit more compact, which is what we see now. The wind field will get bigger as it comes northward and weakens. So even a track far toward east could bring some tropical storm force winds to our coastline.